I thought I knew Emily, my wife, my love, my home. But one autumn day in Portland changed everything. I saw her kissing Nathan, with a smile that was meant only for me. Their laughter, their closeness, sliced through my heart. How could the woman I shared dreams and pain with betray me like this? I stood frozen, unable to scream, as my world crumbled. Now I'm at a crossroads. Demand the truth or walk away forever. Can love survive a lie? Subscribe and like to find out how I navigate this story, where every step is a battle between heart and truth. Uncover my drama with me. I'm 41, and my wife, Emily, is 38. We've been married for 9 years, partners for 11. She's my rock, my confidant, the one person I bet my life on. We've weathered storms together, job losses, family dramas, and the quiet ache of wanting children we could never have. It wasn't meant to be, but we had each other, and that felt like enough. Until 2 days ago. It was a crisp autumn afternoon in Portland, where we've built our life. I'm a graphic designer, and my office is downtown, a maze of glass buildings and quirky street art. Usually, I grab lunch at the food carts near my building, but that day, I felt restless. Something pulled me to wander, to explore a new corner of the city. I ended up on a bustling street lined with vintage shops and cozy bistros, the air thick with the scent of roasted coffee and fallen leaves. As I walked, my phone buzzed with a client email, but before I could check it, my eyes caught a familiar figure across the street. Emily. Her chestnut hair glowed under the midday sun, and she was stepping out of a sleek, modern cafe, the kind with floor-to-ceiling windows and overpriced pastries. She wasn't alone. A man walked beside her, tall, with a sharp jawline and a tailored coat. I recognized him, Nathan, a colleague from her marketing firm. They'd worked on projects together, late nights she'd described as exhausting but fun. I never thought twice about it. They were laughing, their heads tilted toward each other, like they shared a secret. My stomach twisted, but I told myself it was nothing. Just coworkers grabbing coffee. Then it happened. Nathan's hand slid to her lower back, pulling her closer. She didn't pull away. Instead, she turned to him, her smile soft, and he leaned in. Their lips met, a slow, deliberate kiss, right there on the sidewalk. She kissed him back, her hand resting on his arm, as if this was natural, practiced. The world stopped. My breath caught in my throat, and the street, its honking cars, chattering pedestrians, the hum of life, faded into a dull roar. I stood there, rooted to the spot, my coffee cup burning my hand. I couldn't blink, couldn't move. This was Emily, my Emily, the woman I'd vowed to love forever, who'd cried in my arms when we lost our chance at a family, who'd laughed with me over late-night pizza and bad movies. How could she be here like this, with him? I wanted to scream, to storm across the street and demand answers. I imagined myself grabbing Nathan's collar, shouting, "What the hell is this?" But my feet wouldn't budge. It was like my body had betrayed me, leaving me to drown in the sight of them. They broke apart, still smiling, oblivious to me standing 50 feet away. They turned and walked down the street, his arm around her shoulders, her head leaning into him. They didn't see me. They didn't even look. The pain hit like a freight train. Betrayal, sharp and jagged, tore through my chest. My mind raced, replaying every moment of our life together. The mornings we'd spent tangled in bed, the way she teased me about my terrible singing, the promises we'd made to always be honest. Had it all been a lie? How long had this been going on? Was Nathan the first, or just the one I'd caught her with? I don't know how long I stood there. A minute? 10? The coffee in my hand had gone cold, and my phone was still buzzing, but I couldn't focus. My world was crumbling, and I was just a spectator. Eventually, I forced myself to move, my legs heavy, like I was wading through mud. I wandered back to my office, but I couldn't sit at my desk. My coworkers' voices were muffled, their questions about my pale face brushed off with a mumbled, "I'm fine." The rest of the day was a fog. I couldn't concentrate, couldn't eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them, her lips on his, her hand on his arm. I kept checking my phone, half expecting a text from her, some confession, some explanation. Nothing. Just a photo she'd sent that morning of our cat, sprawled on the couch, with a caption. "Lazy day for Mr. Whiskers." It felt like a cruel joke. I couldn't go home. The thought of walking into our apartment, seeing her smile, hearing her ask about my day, it was too much. I texted her, my hands shaking, saying I had to stay late to help a coworker with a crisis. "He's going through some stuff," I wrote. "Might crash at his place." She replied almost instantly. "Okay, love you. Tell him I hope he's okay." Her words burned. Love you? Did she mean it? Could she, after what I'd seen? I didn't go to a friend's. I couldn't face anyone, couldn't say the words out loud. Instead, I drove to a quiet park on the edge of the city, where the Willamette River glints under the stars. I parked, reclined my seat, and stared at the ceiling of my car. Sleep didn't come. My mind was a war zone, battling between rage and heartbreak. I kept replaying the scene, searching for clues I'd missed. Had she been distant lately? Had I been too blind, too trusting? I thought of her late nights at work, her sudden interest in team happy hours. Was Nathan always there, waiting? By 2 a.m., my phone was dead, and the car was cold. I wrapped my jacket around me, but the chill wasn't just from the air. It was inside me, a hollow ache that wouldn't let go. I loved Emily with everything I had. I'd given her my heart, my trust, my future. And now, I didn't know who she was. Was she the woman I married, or someone I'd never truly known? Morning came, gray and heavy with clouds. I still hadn't decided what to do. Confront her? Demand the truth? Part of me wanted to hear her side, to believe there was some explanation, a misunderstanding, a moment of weakness. But another part, the one that kept seeing that kiss, wanted to walk away, to protect what was left of me. I thought about our wedding day, her eyes bright with tears as she said her vows. "You're my home," she'd whispered. Was that gone forever? I drove to a diner, the kind with sticky tables and waitresses who call you Han. I ordered coffee, black, and sat in a cornered booth, staring out the window. The city was waking up, people rushing to work, oblivious to the man whose life was unraveling. I pulled out a napkin and started writing, scribbling questions I didn't know how to ask her. Why? How long? Do you love him? The pen shook in my hand, ink smudging as my eyes blurred. I thought about our life together, the small moments that had built our love. The time we got lost on a road trip and ended up dancing in a random field under the stars. The way she'd leave notes in my lunch bag, silly doodles that made me smile. The nights we'd spent planning a future, traveling, growing old together. Had she been planning something else all along? Was I just a placeholder until Nathan came along? The diner's radio played a soft jazz tune, and it reminded me of her. Everything did. The red mug on the table was the color of her favorite scarf. The smell of pancakes was like Sunday mornings in our kitchen. I couldn't escape her, even here, miles from home. But home didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a stage, where we'd been playing parts in a script I didn't understand. I knew I couldn't stay in the diner forever. I'd have to face her, to ask the questions burning in my chest. But how do you confront the person you love most, when you're terrified of the answers? What if she admitted it, said she loved him? What if she lied, and I spent the rest of my life doubting her? I didn't know if I could survive either outcome. As I paid for my coffee, my phone buzzed with a new text from her. Miss you. When are you coming home? My thumb hovered over the screen, but I couldn't reply. Not yet. I needed time, to think, to feel, to figure out who I was without her, if that was even possible. I stepped outside, the Portland drizzle cool on my face. The city moved on. Indifferent to my pain. I walked toward my car, each step heavier than the last. My world was shattered, but I was still here, still breathing. I didn't know what came next, but I knew one thing. I couldn't unsee what I'd seen. And I couldn't unfeel the love I still had for her, even now. For now, I'd keep driving, keep moving, until I found the courage to face the truth. Or until the truth found me. The drizzle turned to rain as I drove aimlessly through Portland's streets. My car's wipers squeaked rhythmically, a metronome to my spiraling thoughts. I couldn't shake the image of Emily and Nathan, their ease, their intimacy. It was like a movie I couldn't pause, playing on a loop in my mind. I needed answers, but the thought of confronting her made my stomach churn. What if she looked me in the eye and lied? Or worse, what if she told the truth? By noon, I found myself parked outside a bookstore we used to visit together. It was one of those cozy, cluttered places with creaky floors and the faint smell of old paper. We'd spend hours there, flipping through novels, laughing over quirky titles, stealing kisses in the poetry aisle. The memory stung, but I went inside anyway, craving something familiar, something to anchor me. The bell above the door jingled, and the cashier, a young woman with a nose ring, glanced up from her book. I nodded vaguely and wandered toward the back, where the armchairs were tucked between towering shelves. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just a place to hide, to think. I sank into a worn leather chair, my hands trembling as I pulled out my phone. Emily hadn't texted again, but her last message, "Miss you. When are you coming home?" glowed on the screen, taunting me. I opened our photo album, scrolling through years of memories. There we were, grinning at a music festival, her hair streaked with purple from a temporary dye. Another shot, us on a hike, muddy and laughing, her arms around my neck. A selfie from our last anniversary, her eyes sparkling as she held up a glass of wine. How could that woman, the one who looked at me like I was her everything, be the same one kissing Nathan? A book on the table caught my eye, a dog-eared copy of a novel we'd both loved. I picked it up, flipping to a random page, but the words blurred. My mind was elsewhere, piecing together fragments of the past few months. Emily's late nights had become more frequent, her phone always buzzing with work stuff. She'd started dressing differently, too, sharper, more polished, like she was trying to impress someone. I'd chalked it up to her new promotion, her confidence blooming. Now I wondered if it was for Nathan. I closed the book and leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The bookstore's hum, soft voices, the rustle of pages, felt like a cocoon, shielding me from the chaos outside. But it couldn't protect me from the questions. How long had this been going on? Did her coworkers know? Were they laughing behind my back, pitying the clueless husband? The thought made my skin crawl. I needed to do something, anything, to stop the spiral. I pulled out my laptop, thinking I'd distract myself with work, but instead, I found myself searching Nathan's name online. His LinkedIn popped up first, polished headshot, smug smile, a string of buzzwords about innovative marketing strategies. He'd been with Emily's firm for 2 years, promoted to her team 6 months ago. 6 months. Had it started then, or before? I dug deeper, scrolling through his social media, looking for clues. A photo from a team outing, Emily in the background, laughing. Another post about a killer project, with a winking emoji. My jaw clenched. Then I saw it, a tagged photo from a week ago, a group shot at a bar. Emily was there, her arm around Nathan's waist, her smile wide. The caption read, "Best team ever." My heart sank. It wasn't proof, but it was enough to twist a knife. I slammed the laptop shut, drawing a curious glance from a nearby browser. I muttered an apology and stood, my chest tight. I left the bookstore and walked to a nearby park, the rain soaking through my jacket. The paths were empty, the swings swaying in the wind. I sat on a bench, the cold metal biting through my jeans, and let the rain mask the tears I couldn't hold back. I didn't care who saw. My world was unraveling, and I was powerless to stop it. By evening, I knew I couldn't avoid her forever. I drove home, my hands gripping the wheel like it was the only thing keeping me together. Our apartment building loomed ahead, its warm lights mocking me. I parked and sat there, staring at the dashboard, rehearsing what I'd say. "I saw you with Nathan. How could you do this? Do you love him?" Each phrase felt like a blade, cutting deeper. I took the elevator up, my heart pounding. When I opened the door, Emily was in the kitchen, humming softly as she chopped vegetables. The smell of garlic and herbs filled the air, a cruel reminder of our normal life. She looked up, her face lighting up. "Hey, you're back!" I was starting to worry. I froze, the words I'd practiced dissolving. She looked so, herself. The Emily I loved, with her messy bun and flour-dusted apron. Not the woman from the cafe. I managed a weak, "Hey," and dropped my keys on the counter. "You okay?" she asked, tilting her head. "You look exhausted." I wanted to scream, to demand the truth, but my throat closed up. Instead, I mumbled, "Long day. I'm gonna shower." She nodded, her eyes soft, and went back to cooking. I fled to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. Under the hot water, I let myself break. The tears came hard, mixing with the spray, my sobs drowned out by the rush. I didn't know how to do this, how to confront her, how to live with the truth, how to survive if she left. But I couldn't keep pretending. Tomorrow I'd ask. Tomorrow I'd face her. For now I dried off, put on a fake smile, and joined her for dinner. We ate, we talked, we laughed, like nothing was wrong. But everything was. And as I lay in bed beside her, her breathing soft and steady, I stared at the ceiling, knowing sleep wouldn't come. The truth was coming, and it would change everything. Morning broke with a pale, watery light filtering through the curtains. Emily was already up, her side of the bed cold. I heard the clink of dishes in the kitchen, the soft hum of her voice as she talked to Mr. Whiskers. The normalcy of it was suffocating. I lay there, my heart pounding, knowing today was the day. I couldn't keep running, couldn't keep hiding. I had to know. I dragged myself out of bed, my body heavy, like I was moving through quicksand. In the kitchen, Emily was pouring coffee, her smile bright as she handed me a mug. "Morning, sleepyhead," she teased, brushing a kiss on my cheek. Her touch burned, a reminder of the betrayal I'd witnessed. I forced a smile, my hands trembling as I took the coffee. We sat at the table, the silence between us louder than ever. She chatted about her day, some meeting, a new client, but I barely heard her. My mind was screaming, the words I needed to say clawing at my throat. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I set my mug down, harder than I meant to, and the clink echoed in the quiet. "Emily," I said, my voice low, unsteady. She looked up, her brow furrowing. "What's wrong?" she asked, her tone soft, concerned. It almost broke me, that concern, like she hadn't shattered my world. I took a breath, my chest tight. "I saw you 2 days ago, outside that cafe on Belmont. With Nathan." Her face changed in an instant, color drained, eyes wide, lips parting like she'd been slapped. For a moment, she didn't speak, and the silence was worse than any answer. My heart sank, the truth already forming in her expression. What do you mean?" she stammered, but her voice was thin, unconvincing. "Don't," I said, sharper than I intended. "Don't lie to me. I saw you kiss him. I saw the way you looked at him. Just tell me the truth, Emily. Please." She stared at me, her hands twisting in her lap. Tears welled in her eyes, and she looked away, toward the window, like she could escape this moment. "I didn't mean for you to see that," she whispered, and my stomach dropped. "Didn't mean for me to see?" I repeated, my voice rising. "What does that even mean? How long has this been going on? Do you love him?" She flinched, her hands gripping the edge of the table. It's not what you think," she said, but the words sounded hollow. "Nathan and it just happened. It was a mistake, a stupid mistake." "A mistake?" I laughed, bitter and raw. "You don't kiss someone like that by accident, Emily. You don't lean into them, smile like that, because of a mistake." "How long?" She swallowed, tears spilling down her cheeks. "A few months," she admitted, her voice barely audible. "Since the summer. We were working late and I don't know, it just happened." I felt like I'd been punched. Months. Not a moment, not a lapse. Months of lies, of her coming home to me, kissing me, sleeping beside me, while she was with him. Why? I asked, my voice breaking. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you stop? I don't know, she sobbed, covering her face. I was scared. I didn't want to hurt you. I love you, I swear I do. I got caught up, and I didn't know how to fix it. You love me? I said, incredulous. You love me, but you're kissing him? You're sneaking around, lying to my face? What am I supposed to do with that, Emily? She reached for my hand, but I pulled back, the distance between us a chasm. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I'll end it. I'll quit my job, whatever you want. Please, we can fix this. I stared at her, the woman I'd built my life with, now a stranger. I wanted to believe her, to cling to the hope that we could go back, but the image of her with Nathan was seared into me. I don't know if we can, I said, my voice flat. I don't know if I can trust you again. She broke down, sobbing into her hands, but I felt numb. The love I had for her was still there, aching, but it was tangled with betrayal, with doubt. I stood, grabbing my keys. I need time, I said. I can't do this right now. Where are you going? She asked, her voice panicked. I don't know, I said, and walked out, the door clicking shut behind me. I drove to the coast, 2 hours from Portland, where the Pacific Ocean roared against jagged cliffs. The rain had stopped, and the sky was a bruised purple, the waves crashing below. I sat on a rocky outcrop, the wind biting my face, and let myself feel everything: anger, grief, love, loss. My phone stayed off. I couldn't handle her calls, her texts, not yet. I thought about our life, the years we'd spent building something I thought was unbreakable. I thought about Nathan, about the months she'd chosen him over me. But mostly, I thought about myself. Who was I without her? Could I forgive her, rebuild with her, knowing what she'd done? Or was it time to let go, to find a new path, alone? By nightfall, I checked into a small motel, the kind with flickering neon signs and threadbare carpets. I lay on the bed, staring at the cracked ceiling, and made a decision. I'd go back, but not to fix things, not yet. I'd go back to face her, to ask the hard questions, to decide if our love was worth saving. And if it wasn't, I'd walk away, no matter how much it hurt. The next morning, I drove home, the road stretching out like a question mark. Emily was waiting, her eyes red, her face etched with fear. I looked at her, my heart still breaking, but I felt something new: resolve. We need to talk, I said, and she nodded, stepping aside to let me in. The truth was out, raw and ugly, but it was a start. Whatever came next, forgiveness, separation, or something in between, I knew I'd survive it. Because even in the wreckage of my world, I was still here, still standing, ready to find my way.